to Broadcast to Badass by Best Life Ever with your hosts, Kimi and Pua. If you're ready to stop struggling, stop hustling, and start living your best life ever, you are in the right place.
My ears are so warm today.
Oh my God, mine too.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks to these epic headphones on our ears.
We are rocking studio headphones today, and we got the Regent model, and we're loving it. Our ears are warm, the sound quality is great, and this is a really cool company, and their mission is to revolutionize the way that people see headphones, not just as a tech device, but also as a really cool looking accessory. And, you know, they really want to bridge the gap between tech and style in the headphone market and in the headphone industry. So we're super pumped.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty cool in them. Mine are black. Yours are white, yeah? Mm-hmm. I love them. We'll have to post some photos of them too. And if you stick around, later we're going to share with you a discount code where you can get your hands on some of these. That's our listener retention gimmick right there. All right. So what are we talking about today? It's you and me today.
It's just the two of us.
Just the two of us and you.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was like to you, whoever's listening. So today we are talking about how to avoid burnout in work and in life. Such an important
out thinking about this.
I know, it's such an important subject, and it's one that is near and dear to our heart. As entrepreneurs, I think that we are particularly susceptible to burnout. And it's even more important for us to really set some boundaries and create some lifestyle and habits to really, just create our best life ever and our best work life ever.
For sure. We talk to a lot of entrepreneurs as we do breakthrough calls, and we talk to people in our courses, and it's really common, especially for, as Kimi said, entrepreneurs and high achievers, to take on more than they can handle. And it's not even more than they can handle, because we can all handle quite a bit, but we take on a lot more than we want to, and we take on things that don't bring us joy because we might be good at them. And this is so common. And that's where we start to feel burnt out, when we not only just have too much on our plate, but we have things that don't align with our mission and the bigger vision for our life.
Right. And don't you also feel too that there's also those times where there's just so much cool stuff happening and you want to do it all. And that's the other thing that can lead to burnout too. And I know we've had conversations about this where it's like, yeah, certainly there's things that maybe we're doing that we shouldn't be doing or that we don't want to be doing. But there are those times where it's just like, there's so much cool stuff going on. There's so much fun stuff. And we want to be doing it all. And that can also lead to burnout too. So there's lots of paths to burnout, certainly.
That's how I feel right now.
I know. We just talked about it, right? And you're like, but I love all the things. I think that's so great. I love that about you. And isn't it so cool that we have the tools and the skills and the strategies so that we can take on all the things that we love. It's a great thing.
For sure. And I think we see patterns with people. And this is one of those things, as we were prepping for this, I was thinking in my head, like, well, you know, I can write these things down and talk about these, but this is stuff that we do every day. Doesn't everybody do this? And I have to remind myself that, you know, we studied this for a long time, and it's our responsibility to share the things that we practice every day with all of you, so that you guys can have the tools to really shift out of burnout. Because as Kimi said, like, we often get stuck in the things that we love to do, and then there's all of a sudden like so many of them that we feel burnt out. And without the strategies to shift out of that, there's that inner conflict of like, but I don't get it, but I'm so tired and I'm exhausted, but I love it. And aren't I supposed to be energized by this? And I'm just so confused. So let's dig in and share some strategies right now so that you can shift back into that excitement about all the things and still feel like you're in control. because that's huge.
Oh, yeah. And, I've heard that saying so often lately where you can't connect the dots going forward, only going back. And I think it's so cool when we look back at our journey as fitness trainers turned productivity coaches, turned online business coaches, right? It's like, wow, how cool that we're able to bring in wellness and health strategies and productivity and efficiency, effectiveness strategies into the coaching that we now do for entrepreneurs. And it makes so much sense standing here, but it didn't necessarily make sense. We couldn't have, connected the dots back then. But I love that. And I love that we bring all of those teachings into our course and into our work now and into our own lives because, man, we got a lot going on at times.
Totally. Well, we used to coach people at the gym so when people join a gym, many times it is super far out of their comfort zone, not only physically, but just in terms of their schedule. And I remember coaching people about like, they would say, oh, so we'd ask them a bunch of questions, right? And we'd be like, so you've been here for a week. How's everything going? How do you feel? And they're like, it's so weird because I sleep an hour less. I have to get up an hour earlier to get to the gym, but I have more energy now than I have ever had in my life. And I feel better. I feel alert and things are just kind of flowing. And while like that was kind of an afterthought because people were so focused on weight loss and the numbers aspect of it, it was so cool to bring attention to that part of fitness, right? The things that we can do for ourselves that bring us energy. And when we're feeling energized and we're taking care of our body and our minds, the rest of the things start to feel good and fall into place. And that's something that we often forget. And when we feel burnt out, the first thing that goes is often our self-care, especially when we're busy. We take care of all the things before we take care of ourselves. And like, I guess that's strategy number one is to flip that. And when you start to feel burnt out, the first thing that you need to prioritize is yourself. Because when you are feeling taken care of, when you can re-energize and even rest a little bit and fuel yourself, then all of the other things, you won't have any less to do maybe, but it will feel better and you will feel better and you won't feel so tired, right?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because I think we see this on a micro level and then on a macro level and in ourselves and in others, like on the micro level, when you're working really hard, you don't get up to pee. Like, do you ever have that happen where you're just like, I'm just going to power through and we have to remind ourselves like, okay, I got to pee. Oh yeah, go pee. It's like so silly. Like, why is that the first thing to go? Like that should be the number one thing that you take care of is listening to the natural rhythms of your body. And then on the macro level, as you're saying, our physical wellness, we tend to compartmentalize it, right? Like, okay, I'll take care of my physical health when I, finish this project or when I'm through this stressful period of work that I'm going through right now, then I'll start working out. I'll wait till the Monday. I'll wait till New Year's, whatever it is. So yeah, we love thinking about, wellness in general in terms of our physical, mental, emotional and spiritual self. And that we've incorporated into our weekly planning system and into so much of our coaching and just thinking about things in terms of thinking about burnout in terms of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual can help give you clues as to what area in your life might need a little bit of tender, loving care and attention. And so certainly physical is probably the number one place to look because it typically is the first place where people will start to experience burnout and also really like physically feel burnout symptoms.
For sure.
Yeah.
And also your physical environment,
oh,
right?
God, so true.
Like you can feel overwhelmed and burnt out if you have just a lot of stuff around or if things are feeling chaotic. And this is Alice Noy 101, but I just love thinking about when she talks about your physical space being a reflection of your inner space and how you really want to surround yourself with things that you really love and that bring some kind of value to your life. And if they don't, like, time to go, toss it, donate it. And you would be surprised how energizing this is. It's so funny, right? Like it doesn't logically make sense that these are all connected, but they are so connected. And even when we were thinking about this episode and we're breaking things down into physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, it was hard for me because I'm like, oh, but that is kind of like mental and physical or emotional and spiritual. It's all connected, guys.
It's all connected.
Like crazy.
Yeah. So physical environment, physical body. Now, burnout can also happen too. You mentioned mental, when we're mentally overwhelmed by all the things happening in our life and we're not giving ourselves enough mental space to recharge, reset. And this is so common in this day and age where when we have a lot of things going on, when we have a lot of commitments or, opportunities to get distracted or to have like things that are vying for our attention, we end up just jumping from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And we don't have any white space essentially in our brain to reset. And that's really what we need in order to avoid burnout. So typically it's like, I think about it like a computer, right? So if you just kept working it, it's almost like you fry the circuit board. And instead, if we can figure out how to reboot periodically unplug, and reset our systems, it can be a really great way to avoid burnout and just kind of reset our energy.
For sure. I always feel a little bit kind of anxious and stressed out when I hear people talk about their workflow. And I know that this is real because it used to be me where you work. So I used to work for a clinic. So I would I'd physically go into an office, but I also had a laptop. So I remember I would wake up, look at my phone, check my email. Immediately, like upon opening my eyes, I'd turn off my alarm and open my email, open my Facebook. And then I would go into work. I started at 6:30 a.m. So I would have a quick breakfast, usually in the car, go to work, open my computer and like start working 8 hours. Sometimes I would work through lunch because and that's like people do that all the time. It doesn't even sound weird anymore. And then I would go home and I would stay on my computer and work until I went, and I'd have my laptop in bed, which I still do sometimes. Don't tell. Right. But like, and then you're on your phone, you're on Facebook, and it's just like mentally, like, think about how exhausting that is. And that's how so many people live. And it's become normal. Mm-hmm. And one of the like most wonderful parts of our business is helping people to never feel like that has to be the way that you live, because it doesn't. It's just a matter of shifting your mindset around the way that you work and the time versus results. Like, yes. You can still shrink the time and get the same results or better by just shifting your mindset.
Totally. Yeah, we have a whole training on work and life habits to avoid burnout in our course because we believe in this so much. And one of the things that has like completely changed my life is keeping my phone on do not disturb until I've taken care of myself first. And that does not come intuitively to me. Like I definitely want to just grab my phone and jump right into my email because there's that like, okay, what's happening in the world? Like, I feel like I want to just immediately dive in. But there's so much unknown there. And I always think about that saying, how you start your day is how you live your day is how you live your life. And so if I start my day in that reactive mode, I don't know. It's like gambling. I don't know if there's going to be super fun emails in there or if there's going to be like things I got to take care of, other people's priorities or agendas in there. Like you just don't know. Or it can just be a place of, overwhelming information. And so by choosing to kind of, put these two bookends on my day, how I start my day and how I end my day, and really dedicate that time to myself instead of what the world might need from me. It's just completely transformed the way that I live. And I will say, I still have to remind myself to do it because there's still that temptation to grab my phone.
Totally. Totally. And I think it's also like like a a badge of honor almost, where people are like, oh, I've been up working since 4 a.m. Oh, I stayed up until 10 o'clock last night working. And oh, I only got 4 hours. Oh, you only got 4. I only got 3 hours of sleep. It's this thing, right? And we're almost rewarded. Like people have told me, oh, I saw you on Facebook at 4 a.m. You're so good. You wake up so early. And I'm like embarrassed because no one should be on social media that early, right? It's like, that's your time. And it's something that Kimi nailed it, but we've been really working on, and we actually did a podcast interview where someone said that they are very, very firm on the time limits and that they put on their business. And it's so important for us to know when to stop. Mm-hmm. And if you think about the evolution of like the business world and the way that we function in like a professional setting, before computers, everything was like you do everything by hand, and normally that would stay at work or it would stay at your desk. Now we have our phones and it goes with us everywhere. So you always have access to all these things, and all the channels are just like totally blurred into one device. So it is harder now, I think, to really separate yourself, which is why it's so important to get comfortable with completely unplugging. Because if you aren't able in your head to separate your work, your social media, all of that with just like dialing a phone number, then be okay with not being available and accessible all the time. Put it down and go outside. For like a long time. Go outside. Not like 2 minutes or, like, okay, check, went outside. Like, get outside. And it's so, we forget, especially, we live here in Hawaii, and I do not go outside as much as I want to. And that's like something that I want to do more of soon. Like today, get outside, take my shoes off, walk in the sand, walk on the grass, enjoy that it's February and it's like 80 degrees outside. It's like cheating. But it's so important to disconnect, and that alone can help you to feel less burnt out.
Love that. Okay, let's talk about emotional burnout, because I think that's a whole nother thing.
Wait, can we give a quick quick headphones?
Oh yes, let's do it. Oh my gosh, thank you for the reminder. So we teased you guys a little bit that we were going to share with you that code where you can get your hands on some of these amazing headphones, Bluetooth headphones. Actually, they have a whole variety of options on their website. And if you use the code ALOHA, ALOHA, it's going to give you 15% off of any of your purchase. So we are going to include the show notes to this, but you guys, these headphones are so fun. They're so stylish. I feel very stylish. And I love what I've been using mine for is actually, well, not just podcasting, of course, but using the Bluetooth to like put some music on and talk about decluttering and clearing my spaces. That's what I've been working on this month. And there's something about being, when you're like, otherwise you're all tangled up in your whole wire. So having the Bluetooth option is so great, and it makes you really free to dance and move and get shit done.
It's good for walks too.
Yeah.
Like you just pop your phone in your pocket and go for walks. You don't get tangled. And I haven't used these to work out yet, and quite honestly, it's just because they're white. I've had white headphones before, and I feel like when I sweat, they turn yellow. I don't know. Is that in my head? Headphones, people, let me know. Is that real? Because I know that was TMI, but yeah. But like they're great for working out too. I would assume.
Yes. Awesome. Well, check it out, guys. Check out the show notes, and we'll give you all the information on how you can take a look at these gorgeous things.
Which is actually a great segue into how to relieve emotional burnout and emotional stress. And one great way to do that is just having a living room dance party.
Oh, I love that so much. Let's do that. You know what? You should all just pause this right now and just dance for a little bit. Go ahead. We'll wait.
We should share our Best Life Ever album on Spotify.
You can find us on Spotify. That's right. We got to make some more playlists on there. I love Spotify. Emotional stress it's one of those things that, it could just so quickly drain our energy, and it takes some mindfulness. It takes some of that, creating that mental white space, I feel, to sit down and check in with yourself and ask yourself what's really going on with your heart. And perhaps it's stress, perhaps it's relationships, perhaps it's, especially for people that are heart-based, entrepreneurs, or people that are in the service industry, and you're just a very giving person, you're sharing of your energy out, then it's really, really important. The more energy we put out, we need to make sure that we're restoring our energy to avoid burnout. And I just read this article about, there's like a clinical term for it, like caregiver. I don't know if it's caregiver burnout or care burnout or something, but it's where people in caregiving or service industry, they give so much of themselves emotionally that they physically start feeling the symptoms of burnout. And so it's really, really important that you're taking care of you.
For sure. Yeah, I think this is something that especially high achievers, especially entrepreneurs, get stuck in. And we end up coaching a lot of coaches. And as Kimi said, that's very heart-led, heart-based, service-based work. And I mean, any entrepreneur who has a service, like if you're going to go through the heartache of owning your own business and like the super exciting ups and the really challenging downs, you believe in what you are doing, no matter what it is. And we often, like, that personality type usually is the same personality type that is always giving externally and always kind of putting on a face sometimes when we have things that we haven't dealt with. If we let it sit and we're used to just kind of ignoring it and putting it on the back burner so that we can serve, it actually ends up affecting our service. It ends up affecting the relationships we have professionally and personally. And it's just something that you gotta deal with it. You gotta either have the conversation or, do the inner work, because sooner or later it affects the bottom line. And that's what we meant by all of these are so connected. And it's weird. Like, I wish they weren't sometimes, but they are. So sorry.
Sorry about it.
Sorry.
Well, you know what the really cool thing is that you know what you need to not feel burnt out. Like, you have the answers within, and there is no, like, we can't sit here and tell you, like, you need to drink more water, you need to go outside more, you need this, because it's going to be so individual depending on your situation and what you need. But it's so cool because you have the answers within you, and all you simply need to do is take some time, create that white space to sit down and just ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need to not feel burned out? Maybe first, why am I feeling burned out? And second, what do I need to not feel burned out? And that's so powerful that you have that available to you at all times. And we guarantee if you take a few minutes of quiet and just journal about this, something's going to come up for you. That's exactly why we created our weekly planning system, is to put into people's lives this little moment to stop and just go inward and figure, like, how am I doing? And there's so much power there.
Right now, pause this and
pause
do it. Because if you're listening to this, you have some time. So give yourself 2 minutes. Do it. It's like, I just feel like Tony Robbins every time. So we have this 8-week online course, and we've done all of these recordings, and there's exercises in the course. And every time I'm like, okay, pause this. I'm like, I just feel like I'm a Tony Robbins mini version. Did you pause it? Did you pause it?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, except that it's like super mini version because he is a ginormous human being.
I would love to see you standing next to Tony Robbins. That would make me so happy.
I would love to see you stand next to him.
Oh my God.
We're the same height.
I guess we are, yeah.
Too.
What's up?
I am a solid 5'2". I thought that I was lying because I swear the last time I was measured, I was 5'1" and a little bit, but I'm a solid 5'2".
I'm 5'2.5".
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you say 5'3"?
On a good day.
But like, on your driver's license?
I think I do. Because you know what? If you like when I wake up in the morning, I'm 5'3", and probably by the end of the day, I'm 5'2.5" or 2.25". We shrink throughout the day.
We do.
Yeah. But Tony Robbins is how tall? Like 6'10"? No, I don't know if he's that tall.
Maybe. He's ginormous.
What I do know is that his hand is guaranteed bigger than your face.
I just hit my mic on my face because I was like doubled over laughing. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Yep.
We digress.
Speaking of Tony Robbins and living your purpose, I just feel like Tony Robbins helps people live their purpose. And that simply can be another cause of burnout that we do want to lightly touch upon. And that is being burnt out from, in terms of your spiritual wellness. And this doesn't mean necessarily spiritual in terms of religion or, spirituality, or this is really just about your soul's purpose. And often we can feel incredibly burned out because, as Pua touched upon earlier, we're doing things that aren't aligned with our soul and what we're really meant to do on this planet and what our heart and our soul is calling us to do. And we have all had that experience where we're living one reality and we're out of alignment and we just feel like burnt out all the time. And then we shift to doing something that our soul is truly calling us to do, something that is aligned. And all of a sudden we've tapped into this freaking amazing geyser of limitless energy. And so what is that? It's like same person, maybe even, similar things that we're doing, but it's the alignment that makes the difference. So this is really, really huge. And this is not something, again, that we can answer for you. It's where you take some time and you check in. Are you living your soul's purpose?
Spiritual health is weird. It's like, that's all. Done. No, it's whenever we talk about spiritual, when anybody talks about spiritual, it's so funny because like they go through this. I mean, whatever spiritual is to you, it's like, is it God? It's the universe, spirit, doesn't matter. It's all the same. But it's just so funny because we all try to put words to this. We try to like label it when, first of all, it is all one. It's all the same. Whatever you believe is perfect for you, and it's all the same thing. And it can't really be put into words, which is why religion exists, because so many people have tried to put this into some kind of framework that logically makes sense to our brains. But the whole point behind it is that it is a heart-based practice. And it connects us on this level that we all don't really understand because we're not really supposed to make sense of it. It's supposed to just be truth. And when we allow ourselves to understand that we don't need to understand, then that's when we get to like enjoy that quiet inner wisdom and use that to answer the questions that we're having trouble answering. For example, Kimi and I are a part of a team, and we're hosting a retreat later this year. And we get together every week and we do some planning for the retreat. We talk about, enrollment strategies and how we're going to promote it and what we're going to do there. And these meetings are often 2 hours long. And while we get a ton of stuff done in the meetings, this past week we spent, one of our partners, Tara, this woman is just magical. And she goes, okay, guys, what I really want to do before we end is just take 2 minutes of silence to just kind of sit in each other's energy and just visualize whatever comes to you. Just kind of, let's just take a moment. So we all sat there for 2 minutes in silence in the middle of this co-working space. And after those 2 minutes, each of us shared what came to our minds, and like it was the most productive 2 minutes of the whole day because we figured out all of these new ideas to implement and to try out for this event. Had we not taken that time, those 2 minutes to listen to whatever came to us and to just silence our minds, we wouldn't have had those ideas. So this is really about silence and white space and listening rather than talking and thinking and trying to make things work. And it's so easy, and you have it at your disposal all the damn time, but most of us don't remember to use it.
Drop the mic. Yeah, that is so true. I love all of that so much. And you know what I really love that you said too is that it's not spirituality or what, it's just truth. And I think that is so fun. Like, we're so funny as humans, right? We're like, oh, like I'm spiritual and that person's not spiritual or whatever. It's like, no, it's all just truth. Like, there is no physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. There's no separation of any of that. There's all just truth and then not truth, like being in alignment or not being in alignment. And we make it so much more complicated again, because we are trying to, our brains, right, are trying to we're trying to wrap our head around things and understand things. And really, if we just sink down and operate and check in to that deeper place, that deeper wisdom within, it's so much easier, guys. It's so much easier. And as Pua said, it can be really, really fast too, that we get the downloads that we need. It doesn't necessarily mean that we need to go sit on a mountaintop for 10 hours. Although if you want to do that and feel called to do that, that's great too. But we're so busy running around in our heads, like trying to figure out all the answers, that if we would just stop and be quiet for like 2 damn minutes, we might realize that we have all the answers within.
Totes.
I love it. All right. Well, let's wrap this puppy up. Here's your 2 minutes. Ready? Go. Just kidding. Well, we are so happy to have been able to spend this time with you guys. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, we'd love to invite you to join us on Facebook in our Best Life Ever tribe on Facebook. This place is so fun. It's just full of amazing people, amazing entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, and just like all around good vibes. So come check it out, bit.ly/BLE tribe.
It really is so fun. Like, just come and have fun, because it's like a party in there. Every day I'm like, what's going on in the tribe? And we also have a party going on with our B2B community. This just amazing group of entrepreneurs. And if you guys don't know what B2B is, it's not business to business. It is broke-ass to badass. And that is our 8-week online course geared towards entrepreneurs creating more freedom to do the things that they love and really harness the power of bringing their business online, creating residual income, growing and scaling their businesses, and just really being the badasses that they are in the world. So if you're interested in learning more about that, jump over to bestlifeever.buzz/B2B. That's the number 2.
Yes. So you can find out all of this in the show notes, along with that discount code for these epic headphones. And we'll catch you guys soon.
Bye.